we have a guest speaker this afternoon who again is going to try and give us that bird's eye view of, you know, how do we as citizens fit in a government, in a municipal government, and what can we do to make great change? Because here's a lady who has made great change in government, and I'm very pleased to introduce Pauline, a resident of Hamilton Township.
Well, thanks very much, Al and Kathy, and congratulations to the core group, and welcome everyone. It's great to see people that I went to school with, and neighbors, and so on. And I don't really feel like a guest, because I was actually born right here in this village and spent quite a bit of time here right now. But I wanted to tell you a little bit just about this hall and volunteers. And this park. This park was established after World War I, a memorial park, donated, and it was to be a memorial to the people that had lost their lives, as well as the veterans that returned. And then in 1948, this hall was actually built by volunteers, and all the wood and foundation and everything was all donated. The farmers that grew the trees cut them down and sawed it up, and that's what was that was really a tremendous amount of citizens' participation in this. And how was this financed? This place was financed by running every Saturday night having bingo games. 5 cents a game, a winner any direction. The place was packed. Everybody was able to come. Even the kids played bingo then. You have to be 18 now to play bingo. But the kids were great playing bingo. They loved the prizes. And of course, we had great baseball games here. We had a girls team, and we played Plainville and Cold Springs and Baltimore. And sometimes we even went as far as Belleville and Bethany to play baseball. But of course, we were just amateurs. We weren't like the real professionals that were in Cold Springs with Roger Cole. That was great. So I congratulate you for bringing this group together and for your participation here today. And I am so pleased to see that we have 3 elected people here, Pat McCourt, Scott Jibb, and Bill Kane. So thank you so much for being here today. It's really wonderful. So I've been involved with projects in this community for quite some time. And when our beautiful little St. John's Church was threatened to be closed, sold, or torn down, we rallied the community and got it opened, restored, and I believe it's a beautiful architectural landmark in this community. And of course, I'd like to extend you to come tomorrow morning at 10:30 to the church service. And also, about 15 years ago, a group of Harwood residents formed the Friends of the Harwood Waterfront, and we've got Bruce Taylor, Ron Niebergall, Joanne Bird, Melanie Gillespie, Sue Lothian, and Tina Greer has just come on board there. So we're working on just the projects for the waterfront and to try to improve that. And you probably have seen the new pavilion that was built a couple of years ago, that we shared the cost of that with the Township of Hamilton, and so we're really pleased to be working with the township on that. And of course, there are 2 other waterfront public properties on Lakeshore Drive in Harwood. So I invite you to look at those and see, maybe Citizens Council would have some comments to make about that too. So this organization of Citizens Council for Hamilton Township is really for the betterment of the community, and it's a wonderful example of people getting involved in democracy at the grassroots entrance as Al has mentioned, and that we might call this civic engagement. So I went to the internet and I put in civil engagement. So what is civil engagement? Well, it refers to ways in which citizens participate in the life of a community in order to improve conditions for others and to help shape the community future. Another example is that engagement then is not merely a matter of being active, of deploying the skills necessary to make your case and press your point, but to engage others and to hear what they have to say and respond genuinely and fully, and then act on their proposals. Another example of civic engagement means working to make a difference in the civic life of our communities and developing the combination of knowledge, skills, values, motivation to make that difference. And it means promoting the quality of life in a community through both political and non-political processes. So there's a famous quote that many of you have quite familiar with, and it says, "And so, my citizens, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." And of course, that was President John F. Kennedy. It's a good slogan, it's a good quote that we need to remember. And we as a society need to be encouraging our friends and family to focus not just on individual wants that we may want individually, but serving that larger community. But I know that people are people, and communities always have their fair share of personal disputes, disagreements, and complexities. So we will need all the resources and ability to deal with some of the personalities that you might find in the community. We live in a really beautiful part of the country. Rice Lake to the north, Lake Ontario to the south, the rolling hills of the Oak Ridges Moraine, and close enough to Canada's largest city to have the beautiful cultural and sporting events, cheering for those Blue Jays. And I understand that property in the Peterborough, Kawartha areas is increasing and in much demand. So that's really all good news for us. So here we are. We have our challenges, but we have our opportunities. The Oak Ridges Moraine cuts right through the municipality, which protects the beautiful landscape. However, it does affect what owners can and cannot do with their land. At present, there is a review of legislation of the Oak Ridges Moraine and the Greenbelt Act by the Honorable David Crombie, which is ongoing right now. You may want to submit some of your concerns to him about this provincial legislation. He is reporting in September, so you've got all summer to get your comments into him. But that protected land also affects the tax base of the municipality. And how can that tax base and the economy be stimulated? Well, there are, my opinion, the three villages on the south shore of Rice Lake, of Bewdley, Gorse Landing, and Harwood, as well as the shoreline in between that are tourist destination locations. What could be done to attract more economic activity to these waterfront villages? Perhaps the Citizens Council and members of Hamilton Township can give some thought to this. The topography of the area makes it sometimes difficult to connect to the internet and the wireless telephones. I know that just from experience. But I know that improvement is taking place, but as yet is often unreliable for those wishing to work from home or conducting business in the area. But the social media is everywhere, and it's wonderful that the Citizens Council is using this so productively, and the opportunity for us all to be connected. Now, towers are not pretty things, and there's lots of talk about that. And satellites and these towers and all this such equipment are all essential in the digital world, and it continues to improve and change. So what are the exciting projects that could happen in Hamilton Township and put Hamilton Township on the map? What are your thoughts about what that could be? Well, when you think of back 100 and more years ago, the entrepreneurs, they built a railroad and went right across the lake. Now that was a project. That was a huge project. Didn't last too long, as you know, because there was some engineering problems. But can you imagine that we in this room would be shareholders to come up with a huge, big entrepreneurial project? I mean, that project was to have economic activity to bring the timber and the iron ore down across the lake, down to Coburg, and down to the U.S. to be sold. So what could such a visionary project look like now? Let's think about that. Let's think about outside the box of what this new organization might be able to come with. Very, very special project. I know there are a lot of talented people in this room. Energetic people, creative people. You have ideas. So let's make some of those visions that you might have, those ideas, into a reality. Canada will be coming up to the 150th anniversary in 2017. And the federal government has allotted a very large sum of money for that occasion. So what infrastructure or what waterfront projects could be planned in Hamilton Township to celebrate Canada? We need to plan now for that. And the government doesn't need to do all the lifting on this. We do have entrepreneurs and volunteers to make this thing happen. But civic engagement is about improving communities. At the local level, it's about bringing people together to solve issues to improve a community. So in conclusion, civic engagement really requires strong leadership, and we have strong leadership in this room. Involved, connected, and engaged residents from all walks of life will make for a creative and stronger community. You have really progressed well with your planning for this new Citizens Council, with the realistic goals, reasons for the community participation, and a way of presentation to reach the larger community through the website and Facebook. When I was on my way here today, before we got here, we already saw who was in the room because we got onto Facebook. So we saw your picture. We married you and put it on Facebook. So we saw who was in the room before we even got here. It was great. And of course, the best way to get people involved is to ask them. Ask your neighbors, ask your family, ask your friends to be involved. So any organization needs leadership, patience, trust, tolerance, listening to others, as well as just having a lot of wonderful fun together to make this community a better place for all the citizens. So I wish you well. I look forward to working on this committee too. And this is going to be really wonderful for Hamilton Township. So thank you so much.